This is a 2016 Mercedes Vito Combi van, and in this video we'll tell you why we bought it. It's very good for grocery shopping. Look, whether that was the right decision. That's a few nice creature comforts to have. It's got a message on the dash telling me that the oil level is too high. So if you're in the market for a machine that can transport your family and all of the hobbies, like a Kart, there's two things you're going to need. Number one is garage space, and number two is transportation. Now there are several ways you can transport a Kart, but what are they? One of the ways you can do it is by Kart trailer. That requires a decent trailer, a tow bar on the back of your car, which I didn't have, and also somewhere to store your trailer, which also I don't have when my drive's on a slope. And you also need a willingness to drive a car with the trailer on the back. I also don't have that. Another way is to pay someone to store, maintain and transport your car for you. But there's two reasons why I don't think that's a good idea. One is it costs quite a lot, and two, it takes a bit of the fun out of owning a Kart, really. You could always try squeezing the Kart in an existing vehicle. I just don't think it's going to fit in there, and I just don't want to take it apart every time it goes in there. It's a bit of a faff. Or you buy a van. Now, I've never owned a van before, and there's literally a ton of choice available. But let me go into a bit more detail, specifics, why we chose the Vito 2016 model. You may notice this is a combi van. So what does that mean? It means you get an extra row of seats for passengers behind the normal seats. Now, a lot of combi vans will have a big bulkhead here, which cannot be removed, which is a bit inconvenient. There's only a couple of vans that I found that have this sort of open van space layout with the combi van seats here. They were this Vito and the Volkswagen Transporter. Now, in all reality, when we're using this van to transport a Kart, these seats will not be here, we'll take them out. But having a combo van does mean it looks a little bit more like a car and a bit less like a van, and it also does offer that bit more versatility should you ever need to use it in the future transporting passengers. Give you that kind of best of both worlds. Being a combi van, it's a bit more refined in here. It's got proper headlining, there's a bit more sound deadening, carpeting on the sides, in the back, etc. It's less like a bare bones panel van. Sure, if you get a panel van you can put deadening and insulation and do all those sorts of things, but that's still a bit of a hassle. We didn't really want to bother with that. We wanted a kind of versatile, usable van, which this is. This is the W447 version of the Mercedes. It's the third generation Vito, which means it's Euro 6 compliant, which means I can drive this in the ULEZ zone with no charge. It uses Mercedes-Benz 2.1 4-cylinder OM651 diesel BlueTech engine, which is quite common in the Mercedes range, and it's used in other vehicles that they have, the C-Class, the CLA. It has a 2-ton towing capacity, comes with a 6-speed manual gearbox. This is the short wheelbase version, coming out at 4.9 meters long. This particular example is in decent condition, although it is a bit leggy on the miles, 153,000 miles. We're now in the end of 2024 and this is a 2016 model combi van. I paid a princely sum of £9,000 for this vehicle. Tell me in the comments if you think we got a good deal. When we first got this van, there was a little problem on our first drive.
Flashback.
Slight problem. I've been driving this van 20 minutes, motorway speeds, and just got a message on the dash telling me that the oil level is too high. I suspect the owner, previous owner that I purchased this van off, topped it up before he handed it over. That's not great. When I filled up at the garage back there, I did a bit of Googling, and having more oil than less oil can be sometimes worse than having not enough oil, if that makes sense, which is not a good thing. So I have to get some of that taken out at some point. That issue was quickly resolved though. I wasn't able to easily drain out that oil, but I took it to my local garage, took the drain plug off and got the level down just to where it needed to be. So So what's it like to drive? Well, let's find out. Starting it is a bit weird because the key is on the left side, so it sort of doesn't feel, and it's quite well hidden, it doesn't feel very intuitive, and you've got the cruise control stalk in the way. A bit odd. Pedal brake, and it makes a horrible noise when you release it. It's a van. It drives like a van. It is, however, very well spec'd for a combi van. You've got electric mirrors, electric windows, you've even got a driver's heated seat. It comes with satellite navigation. It comes with air conditioning, which one of the ones I looked at didn't come with. That's a few nice creature comforts to have. You also get alloy wheels, parking sensors, front and rear. You even get folding electric mirrors. If I had any small gripey complaints about this van, it's that there's a little bit of a rattle in the back, which I suppose you can kind of expect in a panel van. I'm not sure what that is or really what to do to fix it, other than try and go in there and find it and tighten stuff. I did test drive one combi van, Mercedes Vito, before buying this one, and it had slightly lower miles. It only had about 90 something miles on it, as this one's got 153, and really no massive noticeable difference. It was a longer wheelbase version. It looked more like a van in that it was painted white. It'd been a bit more used, so it's a bit kind of worn and torn inside, I suppose. But the gear lever was a lot smoother than the action is in this one. I think this one is a little bit, this feels a little bit clunkier than the one with slightly lower mileage. All the switchgear is very car-like. Its steering wheel is exactly the same as the one in our 2016 Mercedes C-Class, so it's all very familiar. Driving position is obviously very good. Fans have really come on. Kind of almost feels car-like, other than the driving height that you've got. This being the short wheelbase version, it's quite compact, so it does fit nicely into normal size car parking spaces, which is good. Those parking sensors front and rear come in really handy too. It could possibly do, if you've been super fussy, with a rear camera on the back. When you're looking out the back window when you're reversing, you think you're closer to something than you actually are. It appears like it's really close to you, but it's not actually that close. That's a bit weird. So rely on the parking sensors and it's kind of okay. Seats are generally comfortable. You get armrests on the ones up front, which is good. Drives nicely. The diesel is low revving, it's very torquey. As with any sort of manual diesel van, you really have to drive it properly, get through the gears, and so it's kind of engaging, and I quite like that. Although it is a combi van, so it does have a set of rear seats, it's by no means what you Americans would describe as a minivan. This is definitely, out of the factory, a van. There was a video I watched on YouTube from Doug DeMuro, who reviewed the Mercedes Metris, which is the American equivalent of this generation of Vito. They came with a slightly different engine over there, but they did try and sell them as minivans, and he ripped it apart because it wasn't a very good minivan. They're not minivans. He even went so far as to criticising the key, which I completely understand, because I've got a C-Class and it's a much plusher looking key, although it's the same sort of footprint of a key. It's just much more utilitarian. The dashboard, the layout, the feel of this Vito is very van-like. It's a van first, combi sort of car vehicle second. If you're wanting a more luxurious version of this to use as a American minivan, buy yourself the V-Class. It comes with a much better spec interior. The dashboard is completely much more aligned to the Mercedes car range rather than this sort of functional, very utilitarian stop work interior that you get in a sort of standard van Vito. Other than the gear change, even with 153,000 miles, this van drives very well. It's had new tyres fitted before I bought it. It had been serviced before I bought it. There was records of work that was done to the brakes, which is all good. And also it had the tracking done, so it cruises nicely on the motorway in a nice sort of straight line. There's no funny pull-in business. It's good. It also comes with, I like Mercedes that have this, I think sort of most of them do, cruise control and the electronic speed limiter. Super handy if you're in average speed camera zones for just hitting that speed limit dial and setting it to whatever the average speed camera is, and then you make sure that your car doesn't go over. That's just nice to have. These sorts of things are cool on what is essentially a van. It also has, albeit a very clunky, infotainment system. It has Bluetooth, it has an FM radio, no DAB, satellite navigation. It's a tiny screen and it's not touchscreen. It looks like... So that's the drive. What is the storage and actual practicality really like? And is it going to be enough room to fit that Kart in? Big tailgate, and as you can see, lots of room for the groceries. Yeah, I think with those seats out of the way, do another video on removing those seats, and definitely have enough space to fit a Kart in. If you are buying one of these, the default flooring could probably do with being covered. It does take a hammering. This one, they never look very good condition, but they are reasonably sturdy, but they do tend to show the marks quite well. I've noticed that since we've been using it. So there you have it. It's spacious, it's comfortable, it's economical. I think it will do the job for transporting a car, even though it does look a little bit like a cross between a funeral car and a taxi. Now, if you've enjoyed this video learning a bit more about the Mercedes Vito and how useful it can be, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Write in the comments, tell us what you think. We'll see you again very soon. Thanks for watching. Cheers.